Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now March 8th of 2022, and ever since the very end of the Book of Boba Fett series, a lot of Star Wars fans have been very curious about what George, John, and Dave have been up to behind the scenes, between, of course, what they are currently working on when it comes to animated and live-action Star Wars TV shows, new Star Wars lore, and exactly how everything is going to be handled from this point on forward. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way, guys, I am on Twitter at Mike01 if you guys want to go ahead and give me a follow on there. I do make sure to post a couple of entertaining things from time to time, and really also make sure to interact with you guys further. So, the real problem right now of what's happening between Disney and Lucasfilm, and of course, Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy, has a lot to do with actress Gina Carano. Now, I'm sure that a lot of you have been very well aware since February of 2021 when Gina Carano was fired. We have seen a lot of Star Wars fans really raising their opinions about what happened with Gina, what they thought should have happened, how it should have been handled, and there's a lot of different opinions out there, and that's okay. And it's also something that Disney and Lucasfilm realized. Now, they've had this plan to rehire her for a very long time. It's still currently moving along very well. A lot of things are happening as we speak for The Mandalorian Season 4 that's already in early development. So everything related to Gina Carano and her return as Cara Dune, the fact that that is moving along very smoothly is actually bothering Kathleen Kennedy and a lot of Lucasfilm employees that are, believe it or not, sided and support Kathleen Kennedy all the way. Now, on top of all of this, one thing about, of course, Disney Star Wars right now is that they are really trying to be very careful with a lot of the choices that they are currently making, a lot of the decisions that are currently being made for the Star Wars universe. They want to absolutely make sure that they can do things correctly every step of the way. So on top of all of that, alright, separate from this, with both Disney and Lucasfilm now focused on their new Star Wars projects, such as Star Wars Ahsoka and The Mandalorian Season 3, both creators Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are actively developing their new Star Wars projects in order to create a new direction for the franchise. However, it's noted that behind the scenes, many problems are beginning to emerge between Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy and some of the creatives, of course, against both Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. Now, it's noted that Kathleen Kennedy is having many issues with Jon and Dave's plan to bring back Gina Carano into the Mandoverse for The Mandalorian Season 4. Now, Kathleen Kennedy is actively trying to put an end to Jon and Dave's plan of rehiring Gina Carano, and is doing everything in her power to convince the Disney board members to not go through with the rehiring of Gina. Now, this is something that many visual artists and other employees over at Lucasfilm are also having problems with when it comes to Jon and Dave pursuing the return of Cara Dune for the 4th season of Mando. Now, Gina Carano is described to be very aware of the situation of Kathleen Kennedy and how she's trying to put an end to her return for the 4th season of Mando, where many of the creatives at Lucasfilm that are sided and support Kathleen Kennedy are also trying to convince Disney to not go through with any of these major plans to actually bring her back into the Mandoverse. Now, let me just stop right there for 1 second. Now, this pretty much proves things correctly, that there is a division, not just between the Star Wars fandom, but also over at Lucasfilm as a company. Now, we have heard this time and time again, that there are a lot of creators that are sided with Kathleen Kennedy, and there's also a lot of old, creators, older, that have been with the company for a longer time, that are more so with Jon and Dave's vision because they're more in line with George Lucas and his ideas of Star Wars. And you can see how, Kathleen Kennedy has a lot of problems with that, because she wants to move away from George's vision. It's one of the main reasons as to why, when you look at a show like the Acolyte TV series, she's moving completely away from George Lucas's philosophy of the franchise and exactly how Star Wars operates, and she wants nothing to do with anything related to that. That's why the Acolyte TV show, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, I believe it's going to fail. I don't believe it's going to serve anything correctly for the fandom, and I think it's really not going to connect with the fans. It's really strictly meant for Kathleen Kennedy's agenda and to create new fans that are going to accept that agenda. That's pretty much what that show is looking at to be. So, past all of that, alright, this is where things begin to pick up quite a bit, is that The return of Cara Dune is already set to actually have major scenes with characters like Luke Skywalker and Ahsoka Tano in the actual show. This is something that Kathleen Kennedy believes is going to create a negative ripple effect to the Star Wars universe and will only destroy the franchise. Now again, this is Kathleen Kennedy's belief that Cara Dune is not meant to interact with any characters like that, and I gotta say I completely disagree with that. The fact that, you know, we have Cara Dune getting ready to interact with some of the main characters like Luke and Ahsoka that are Force-sensitive individuals, and actually know General Leia Organa, it makes a lot of sense. The fact that they are going to connect it to Princess Leia, and having all of these different connections to the Mandoverse as well. Now, the thing about Kathleen Kennedy is that she really wants nothing to do with Cara Dune as a character interacting with some of the legacy characters and some of the characters that George and Dave Filoni created for the Clone Wars. And you can see why she's having a lot of problems with that, because that would only cement the character of Cara Dune further into the Star Wars legacy. And she's trying to put an end to all of this. Now, thankfully, nothing is really working in Kathleen Kennedy's favor. Nothing is really moving forward with Kathleen Kennedy's requests, so it's really looking like it's more in John and Dave's favor still, and everything is still looking a-okay for Gina's return. So, past all of that as well, however, John and Dave are now making sure to bring back Cara Dune, portrayed by Gina Carano. Now, many of the Lucasfilm employees want Gina Carano to be recast for the Mandalorian series, and are even calling for Disney to actually use a different actress. This is something, however, that Disney considered in the past, but eventually realized that this would only create fan backlash and more problems with the Star Wars community within. Now, the recast of Cara Dune is actually something that Kennedy believes is the best option for the future Mandalorian episodes. However, thankfully, Disney is not listening to any of Kathleen Kennedy's demands, and they are also moving forward with Gina Carano's return for the 4th season that is set to debut in 2023. Kathleen Kennedy wants to also make it clear to the fans that she does not support Gina Carano or anybody else who supports her, including many of the employees over at Lucasfilm that are working with Carano's return for the new season. Both Gina, John, and Dave have been in multiple conversations about her return, and that she is going to even be getting a different design change in the new and upcoming season for The Mandalorian. This is currently, of course, planned, all of this in the use of storyboards. Kathleen Kennedy is said to also have another meeting about all of this by this April, where it's looking like it's going to go nowhere. So obviously, at this point in time, it really comes off like Kathleen Kennedy's getting very desperate. She's getting very much offended over the fact that John and Dave are moving along with this plan and that Disney board members are actually in favor of that. And you can see how she's having a lot of problems with this. You know, obviously Kathleen Kennedy does not care about the fandom. She doesn't really care about Gina Carano as a character for Cara Dune. And that really kind of explains everything, is that this really, her firing, at least to a lot of fans' opinions out there, was truly intentional based on Gina's beliefs and what she wrote on social media. And I really believe that everybody out there should be treated equally, because we have a lot of people associated with Lucasfilm writing some nasty things on social media, and they got no punishment at all. Nothing happened to them at all, period. A great example is Pedro Pascal and Freddie Prinze Jr. I mean, really, you know, you see what they have posted on social media and nothing even happened to them. So, well, with that being said, guys, I would love to hear what you all have to say about all of this below in the comments, everything ranging from Gina to Kathleen Kennedy to John and Dave's position on this. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon we hear them moans again.